So as you can see by the amount of stuff that's starting to stack up here behind me in the video series here, we're starting to get down to the nitty-gritty, all the little parts and pieces of our audio systems, and this is something that you want to avoid if you can help it. We always want to run a wire if we can, but like for instance my garage at my house, I had block walls with furring strips, and getting without cutting drywall apart, getting an RCA cable or an XLR cable run from my cabinet array over to the sidewalls just wasn't really practical. So I'm having to use a wireless receiver transmitter. And so this is the one we're carrying at the moment. We may get, if I ever become an SVS dealer, I may transition over to that one. There are some pros to this over the SVS. There's one con, and that's frequency response. But these things do work, and they work quite well, and they can be pretty problem-free. It's just that you're always going to get a better audio signal if you wire the thing. And so when you buy it, it comes in a box like this. This is from a company called OSD Audio. This is their Nero WSA, or wireless subwoofer accessory. The one disadvantage to this, especially for our fancy Dynaudio subs, which I don't know that you're really going to notice a difference, is that these play down to 16 hertz, and this only transmits down to 18 hertz. And so we're going to lose 2 hertz. I think that's okay, Mike? Think we're going to survive without those 2 hertz? Obviously, I prefer, one of the things that the SVS version provides us is it'll play down to 6 hertz, or has a frequency response of 6 hertz, so it would have headroom for our subwoofers that play a little lower. But again, I think in the type of listening we're doing, most frequency response is limited to 20 hertz and up anyway. So I don't think you're going to notice a difference. I'm running these in my garage and haven't had any complaints. So that is one thing to keep in mind. So when you're using these, it's really quite simple. I'll unplug them here. If you look at the back, you look at the back side. So this is our transmitter. So the TX denotes transmitter, and so the transmitter has a DC in for our plug, or for our AC to DC adapter, and it has a stereo input. Now, if we wanted to run this, if you wanted to run this just mono, like if you wanted to run an RCA cable from out of your device, like say for instance our Blue Sound Node has a single subwoofer output, I could run a single RCA cable from your output device or your preamplifier into your subwoofer transmitter. But I've chosen, just to make this simple for everybody, we have this nifty little 1.5 foot Y adapter. I guess this is the 3 foot Y adapter. So we have this nifty little Y adapter from Monoprice that does the job, where we can then just connect with a stereo connection, and it works really quite well in doing it this way. So we're splitting our mono signal coming out of our device like so, and we're connecting it up like this to where we go output to input on our transmitter. And then our receiver is going to go, it's up to 150 feet, which, in pretty much any garage should be fine, unless you are fortunate to have some sort of, massive 10,000 square foot facility. It should be 150 feet, should more than cover us. And then on the subwoofer side, this has a pair button. So when you plug it in, if for some reason the blue lights don't connect, there shouldn't be any reason why it doesn't. You can hold down the pair button. There's an instruction manual in here. Read through that if you have any problems. But almost always, when I turn these things on, I plug in each side, it connects, and you're good to go. And so on the subwoofer side, say for instance on my sub 6 here, my Dynaudio sub 6 has a stereo input. So there's a stereo left and right connection. And so what I do, I have another Y adapter on the other side, and I'm going to go right in and left in, and then I'm going to come single mono output. The other cool thing about this, I don't know what I did with it, but this actually has a bracket. And what you can do is you could screw the bracket into the back of your $2,400 subwoofer, which I don't know that I'd love. And you could mount, you could also use two-sided tape, but it does have a bracket that you could mount your trans or your receiver right to the subwoofer. And so that's our subwoofer connection, you know, in this case from a Blue Sound node to a Dynaudio Sub 6 or Dynaudio Sub 18S, and we have a really awesome wireless. You know, it'll play from 18 hertz to 22,000 hertz, and it does it in the 5.8 gigahertz range, which is not a commonly used frequency in the house, so you shouldn't have any interference. One thing I will mention is that when you're using this thing, you do want to keep in mind that if you have a metal cabinet, which most of us do in the garage, let's say you put your node in the cabinet and you put your transmitter in the cabinet with it, you're probably going to have interference issues with the door closed. And so either you have to operate your cabinet with the door open, or like what I did at my house is I have my equipment on the very top shelf of my 48-inch wide Sabre cabinet. So I just blew a hole through, and I ran my power cord and my Y adapter up through the hole, and so I have this sitting on the very back side on top of my cabinet, so I get good frequency response. If you're going to run multiple subwoofers, you do need multiple. This setup doesn't allow for, we don't have options to buy one transmitter and multiple receivers. So the receiver transmitter for the OSD audio version needs a pair. So if you're going to run more than one sub, you would need a pair of receiver transmitters. So when you plug in, you'll know that it's working. I'll show you that here. If the blue lights light up. It's not signal sensing, so it doesn't really know if your subwoofer or your preamplifier is connected. What it does know is that if it's connected to itself. So when you plug it in, it'll start out with a flashing red light, and then it'll turn blue. It should do that automatically. If it doesn't, you hold the pair button down for a certain period. I think it's like 3 seconds or something like that, and should pair up nicely. If you have any issues, like I said, just consult the manual. So these are right now, in the end of 2021, they're $115 for the pair, and I'd argue if you're spending $1 zillion on a subwoofer, $115 isn't that big of a deal. These, you know, this can take your garage where you may not be able to get wires to without running conduit down the wall, or cutting drywall, or making a whole mess, and make it a really simple process with not a lot of detriment to the sound. You won't, again, I don't think you'll be able to hear it. I certainly can't, so I think you'll be fine. One other piece that you may want to buy with this is if you had like the core sub, or your subwoofer has a single XLR input on the receiver side. This is how I connect my core subwoofer. So I'll come out of my node with my stereo Y adapters that we stock, and then go and do this RCA to XLR connection, because the core Dynaudio core sub, some other subs only have XLR input, especially if it's a professional sub. So that's it, pretty simple. OSD audio, this is the Nero WSA, or a wireless sub accessory. We have these in stock, have these ready to go. They're also included in some of our various wireless subwoofer add-on packages that we have, or add-on kits that we put together for our audio solutions. But we do sell this as a standalone, so $115. And if you have any questions, hit us up, support@obsessgarage.com. We can help you think through this. This is something that I've been using for a number of years, and it works well. So thanks for your support. Available at obsessgarage.com. See you on the next video.